What do you got going on?
No one.
Nothing.
Well, you get out of here.
That's right.
Like 12:30 local time.
Yeah, 12:30, 1 o'clock, depending on how much shit I needed to get done. Then I go home and take a little nap.
There you go.
And then hang out with the fam.
How long is that nap?
I usually only like to sleep about an hour.
Okay.
Any more than that, then I get all messed up.
Preparations for what may or may not happen coming up this fall.
As far as the athletic directors, I mean, they've got a number of contingency plans, whether that starts in late August as scheduled or maybe even gets pushed back to the spring. The NFL to play football does not need to bring back 40,000 students on campus. College football does. But I just think it's very unrealistic that all of these major university presidents will feel confident enough to say, you know what, to all of our students all over the world, it's now safe to come back on the campus and take your fall classes. But make no mistake, they will find out some way to get this season done, which could mean the semifinals from the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl and the national title game from Miami going on maybe as late as Memorial Day.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB
I don't know what else.
Radio.
Weird day.
Coast to coast. It's Pharrell, coast to coast every day.
What's that?
I don't know. Just
In sports, I talk to
Philadelphia,
GMs, coaches, owners, players, and they're all doing the same
Carson
thing.
Wentz talked
They're
to the
laughing,
Eagles
and they're breaking
press
up,
conference.
and
It's
they
just
don't know
all
whether
about-
they're coming or going when I'm done with them. I'm giving you
Hurts,
what you
hurts,
want.
hurts.
Sports, down your throat, big
I
time.
don't know. You
on
get
SB
caught in a
Nation,
like
baby.
what's
Pharrell,
big in
Coast to
Houston,
Coast
not
with
national.
Scott
With
Pharrell.
you guys this morning, but
Weekdays
like
from
what
4
what
p.m. to 6
really
p.m.
over the head.
Eastern.
NFL.
The second level. The second level.
The one bet I'm most comfortable, confident in across the draft board
Lynch
is
to
the
Seahawks,
under
huh?
55.5 for Jalen Hurts. And
Yeah, well, you're just talking to him.
What was
it's
the
a
deal
lot.
with the?
I even reiterated that. It's
who
only a
was it
matter
who
of
was
time
arrested?
before
Was it Darren
you get
McFadden?
Jalen Hurts on the board. And we even brought that bet back.
Yeah.
Well, that was
more
that was a rough one,
underrated
though.
and really most valued bets you could find on the board. Never in a million.
You still there?
I'm here.
All right.
What happened?
Well, it sounded like it was breaking up there.
On
In
me?
Westworld,
Yeah.
I come up with a scenario in which the Philadelphia Eagles would A, take a quarterback in the second
This
round,
happened to me
and
one
B,
time on
that
the weekend,
quarterback
but
be Jalen Hurts,
It was
the guy that we
it
talked
turned out
about
to
at
be
length
on
heading
their
into
end
Friday
because
night for 2
I
days.
connected to
This is where we are on this
a couple
planet.
of other
The
places.
second
and it was
level.
fine.
Weekdays.
Okay. I mean, it sounds okay right now.
It does? Okay,
Yeah, just you were going in and out there for a second.
that's strange.
Brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles. From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road, AutomotiveMap.com has something for you. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs, and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out the brand new AutomotiveMap.com.
Wake up call.
Now, Condoleezza Rice was on the playoff committee. My old boss, Jim Arthur, just tweeted me that she was. Thanks, Jim, out in Colorado Springs, for helping me out with that. So Condoleezza Rice was on the playoff committee.
AKA Tony Burner account. We're not mentioning that though.
Condoleezza Rice was on the playoff committee. Obviously, she was, Secretary of State. Then she's also a member of Augusta National. So an all-in challenge for her. Golf at Augusta National, lunch talking college football, maybe a little politics on the, thrown in there for good
I
measure.
wouldn't want to talk politics. I just want to know dirt.
Yeah, maybe a little behind the scenes
Kinda like
White
that.
House dirt.
Is there a president's book?
Yeah,
What
we're
can you
right.
Tell me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Is there a president's book? That would be a cool thing.
Is Area 51 a cool place?
Right, exactly. She could tell you all about that, as well as whether or not TCU and Baylor got screwed.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Pharrell,
Coast to coast. People used to say, oh, that Pharrell guy, he's on late at night. He doesn't matter. Well, how do you like them apples? Now I'm on 4 to 6 p.m. Eastern on SB Nation, and we're going to cut everybody down like trees everywhere. It doesn't matter if it's afternoons, nights, mornings, weekends.
Noons.
Pharrell Coast to Coast rules.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
That might be my
with Scott
favorite.
Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern.
This
Gotta
moment
check
of
out
gratitude
my
is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage and the Rock family
NC
of companies.
Dinos bet
I really want
last
to thank
night.
my wife's cousin
Money
Marie,
line.
who works so hard as a nurse.
Have you picked your team yet?
to keep
No,
us
I
safe
haven't
and
picked a
ours.
team. I
You
just
got to pick a team.
well, no, because I'm just going to
And
go
all
and
our love,
I'm betting.
gratitude, and hope your way.
I'm all
But
bets,
you got,
man.
Yeah, but you got to find a team that you're gonna, kind of get that sentimental bet out there, so you can relate to the people.
Now,
Identify
see,
themselves
that's where
as
you
part
get in
of the Rock
trouble.
family of companies are separate legal entities
That's where you
that own
start
governance
going,
and
oh, I'm going to
management
bet my team. Meanwhile, I placed a cold, calculated bet last night that
Set
hit.
your system's volume control for slightly above the
I mean, I
normal
paid
listening
minus
level.
165 on it, but geez.
Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious
KBO.
conclusions.
You got to do some smart
NC
Welcome
Dinos.
to the second level, on SB Nation Radio,
And on SBNationRadio.com.
where we go beyond the box score. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
Yeah, if you want to see the bright side or the positives on things, especially when we're dealing with a pandemic that has forced the majority of us to stay at home, despite people being upset now that you have to stay at home a little longer. Trust me, we'll get to the back and forth about baseball and not talking about Korean baseball. That's here, folks. South Korean baseball, at least, is here. But the reports that go back and forth about when Major League Baseball will start, Christmas Day, the target for the NBA, all the way through going from fanless games to now boozeless games, whenever that returns, where bodies can actually be in the arena. But if you are looking for a silver lining, let's just say, in all of this, our clocks are completely shot. Even if you are at home working, and hopefully you're not suffering through unemployment or even worse right now, as so many of us here in this country are. But even if you are at home working comfortably and able to have some semblance of a day that's structured, our clocks are just completely off. Pets are probably looking at us like, what are you doing? Up early, in bed late, whatever it may be. So to stay up or to wake up, either one, depending on when it is you crash or wake up for that matter in the morning, to 1 a.m. Eastern time, and if you're on the West Coast, then it was a gift, is not that difficult. Everything has changed, right? We talked a week ago about how spoilers have changed. Now you can't spoil something that happened 15 years ago on television because you don't know what is going to be watched during this quarantine. Same thing with our clocks being so off that I actually expect a lot of you to have watched Korean baseball last night. You can't sit there and complain that we don't have live sports. We don't have live sports. When is it back? When is it back? And then get a credible baseball league in the world. The KBO is a credible baseball league. This is not just creating something out of thin air in a region that isn't familiar with the sport. That's pretty damn good baseball. You have no more excuses right now. And hopefully you follow me on Twitter at Shander Show. Took the NC Dinos as I gave you that last night on the money line. Bang.
Attention men, we're all stressed out and stuck at home these days, so why not have some fun and cuddle up to your loved one tonight? Rapid Tabs can help. Rapid Tabs delivers safe, discreet, and fast ED medications
guys.
right to your door from
Say
our
hi to
U.S.
Ron.
pharmacy in as little as 1 day.
Hello, Rod.
Rapid Tabs has been in business for over 20
There you
years
go.
right here in the U.S., and
I
all
started
Rapid Tabs
too early.
products are
Damn it.
formulated in the U.S. too, not overseas.
Damn it,
Call
damn it,
now
damn
and
it.
mention code USA and receive $20 off your first order of Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra. Now is the time to order your ED medications and get your very own prescription through our U.S. licensed doctors and pharmacy. Call Rapid Tabs now, 800-640-9134, or order online at rapidtabs.com. That's RAPIDTABS.com. You can research and order from their extensive list of ED medications directly through their website at rapidtabs.com. That's RAPIDTABS.com, or call 800-640-9134.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
Over 2.5 million airline passengers fly every day in the United States. Those passengers depend on reliable airplanes, and those planes need certified aircraft technicians. That's where you come in. We are the Aviation
The
Institute of
McFadden
Maintenance,
one was the one I
and we
was looking
train
at, but I
tomorrow.
guess there was also the Darren Williams
train our
robbery.
Yeah. Okay.
So I didn't want to conflate
them
the
for
two.
real jobs.
They're all bad.
Well,
Like burglary is bad.
Damian
okay?
Williams, yeah.
Burglary is bad.
3 intruders inside an upscale Los Angeles Airbnb.
Shouldn't rob. It's bad.
Call 800-876-0097.
Well, I can't believe this bet hit. I didn't win
I'm
much.
very impressed with the AIM curriculum. The school's keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
The potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we
Check
train
that ticket,
tomorrow's
man.
technicians.
800-876-0097.
138 to win 220.
800-876-0097.
My name is Megan Headings,
167
founder
on the
and
juice.
CEO of Excel Lifestyle.
No
Research
value,
shows
but it
that
was a
wearing
winner.
a face mask drastically reduces the spread of the coronavirus.
Now, you have any
Excel
idea today? You're
Lifestyle's
just going
Prima
off of-
antibacterial face masks are soft, washable, and double layer for added protection. To purchase you and your loved one's face mask, please go to excellifestyle.com. That's ACCEL lifestyle.com.
Now, all I
Once we
can get
receive
is
your order, we
futures
will
here.
ship your masks out immediately. Thank you and stay safe.
Doosan Bears are the squad, though, right?
Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
So once again, we deal with a similar theme when it comes to the return of sports, competing themes, and not even the sub-competing themes in baseball where you have Keith Law say, no, nothing's going to happen. And you have a couple of people, Trevor Plouffe, I think was the first one who said, no, baseball will happen. But here you have another example on the opposite end. While everybody in baseball's world is scrambling to try to determine a date, this is what's going to happen. This is when are they going to return? Because we all need to figure this thing out. And it's thrown out there about July 1st and trying to get something going as far as spring training too. But here comes the NFL. And while baseball looks like they're disorganized and baseball looks like there are way too many competing themes going on, theories and themes of when the season can possibly return. Here's the NFL. Don't worry. We've got you. We're going to drop the schedule. It's going to come out Thursday night. And the beauty of it, just like every schedule release, you already know who your favorite team is playing. You just don't know when. So there isn't even a huge reveal. It's kind of like a smaller reveal. And it's not disappointing like the smaller reveals in the third season of Westworld. It just solidifies things that are going on in your world where you can start planning. Road trip home. Although this year, you can't. This year, that takes away a huge element of the schedule release. Now, meanwhile, on the flip side with baseball, you're just trying to figure out if you can get something that your head won't spin around a million times after you get a report, and then the conflicting report that follows it. I mean, yesterday it was left, right. It was just me going down an average hole at the golf course. Army golf, left, right. You didn't know what to think, if baseball was back or not back. But baseball and the discussion about the return of baseball mirrors a lot outside of just idiotic down to criminal behavior. It mirrors a lot of the national conversation of returning and getting back to any sense of normalcy. And while normalcy in the national conversation represents something from an economic standpoint, opening up malls and being able to go back comfortably to your supermarket or hopefully go to a public gathering, whatever public gathering you so choose to want to, or maybe it's getting your hair cut, things along those lines. The flip side with baseball is that while there is a drive internally, and there is a drive right now from teams and players and agents and Rob Manfred up front, there isn't anywhere near the push to get the NFL back. And the beauty of it for us is we're not in a position right now where the NFL is in jeopardy. We're not. It doesn't mean that the NFL is going to play. It doesn't mean you can lock it in right here. Oh, Shander said 11:15 Eastern time on Cinco de Mayo that the NFL is going to be back. No. But the NFL, once again, is just basking in this light of we don't have to make a decision right now. And maybe it's just coincidence. Of course it is, based on the time that's happening in the calendar coinciding with the virus. But I'm saying it's also in the matter of coincidence that the NFL has been able to really manipulate the offseason better than any sport. So you could argue, for example, if in fact this thing was happening in the middle of December and we were all shut in the middle of December, January, the NFL could not exist. There was nothing that the NFL could do as far as physically go out and play games, much like the NBA, NHL, baseball, everything had to shut down or not start in the case of baseball. So with the NFL and that being done, baseball's not going to step in and take over with their offseason. As much as you every now and again, look, and I'll be honest, when Bryce Harper signs that huge deal in Philadelphia here, the offseason was just a little different. But normally, the hot stove is not going to bring you in, and it's not going to suffice as enough of some sort of void filler when the NFL is gone. It's not going to work that way. It wouldn't work with the NBA. It wouldn't, because they would have to stop. It wouldn't work with any other, even the NBA, as much as it might be even a 1A in this example, there's a bit of a difference. The NFL, make no mistake, folks, the Last Dance and the NFL offseason, I'd say the NFL offseason, then the Last Dance, have carried us through as sports fans here. KBO returns, which is great because you can bet on it. There's now good baseball you can watch associated with a sports bet. If you want to take futures, if you want to take live action, it's happening. It's legal in PA, where I was last night placing a bet, watching those NC Dinos play. You can do all of that physically now. But what's really driven us and maintained any sense of sanity only from a sports standpoint, I can't speak from a real life standpoint, but what's maintained our true sense of sanity is knowing that the NFL has a strong chance, until we're told otherwise, of playing. And you know what? Even if it's a carrot, it almost feels like if you want to go full conspiracy here, and why the heck not, right? It's the first segment of the show. It's Tuesday. We're hanging out. At Shander Show, at Ron's 2N Culver, to get us both on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show is how you can follow along and watch on the stream. But if there really was one sport that anybody who's in control of this country, influencing this country from a political to economic standpoint, would say, all right, hold off. We need bad news given to us in doses, right? We can't just take it all. There's no sports at all for 2020. We'll go crazy. We're already struggling with going crazy. Some of us are not as fortunate as some of the rest of us to be able to go out and play golf and do things outside now that you are, either through economic circumstances or just because you've got kids and it's now just a myth. At one point, you remember being able to go out and do something like that, but it's a fuzzy memory in the past. Not everybody can do that, so I understand it. But if you're told today, hey, celebrate Cinco de Mayo with us, America, celebrate the 5th of May by knowing across the board all sports are canceled. Nothing for the rest of 2020. Forget fans, forget cardboard drummers or robotic drummers, and cardboard fans like we saw in Taiwan. None of that's going to happen. Just shut the whole thing down. John Taffer, shut it down. Boom, that's it. Country would go crazy because the NFL, it's the one carrot that actually makes us feel okay if everything else got shut down. If they came out tomorrow and Keith Law, whoever else would be associated with refuting the reports yesterday, came out tomorrow and said, no baseball. Sorry, guys. You were duped, fooled, no baseball. I talked to Fauci. I talked to Birx. I talked to the people that are influencing the economists and the politicians. And no baseball. Or at least from a medical standpoint, we shouldn't have baseball. And then Manfred comes in and says, hey, we tried. The Biodome won't be ready for another year. We'll probably have a vaccine by then. We tried. We can't force it in. We tried. There's going to be topics and discussions and radio shows that would be used and I think exercised out there for weeks, right? I mean, people would do whatever they can to stretch their mouths and their fingers and their faces on TV or camera to talk about this for a couple of weeks. But remember, we are prisoners of the moment more so than anything with the result of how much we use and rely on social media, which isn't a terrible thing, but it's just a reality. So once that thing blows over and we start looking at the NFL gearing up, even if it's a shortened camp, or even if it's shortened as far as the offseason in its entirety, preseason, I should say, in its entirety. It might even be Cam Newton signing with the Patriots. Just think about that hypothetical, which is still pretty damn good value on the board, mind you, depending on where you're looking. And it went from a minus situation back to a plus, so you can still get, or you can go back to getting some value. But let's just compare and let's just look at this thing real quick. And then I promise we'll take a deeper dive into the robotic drummers and cardboard fans from fanless to boozeless coming up. But think of this scenario. It's hypothetical. Both sides hypothetical. I don't know. Maybe one, maybe both could happen. But we get a report, and this isn't even a report, maybe just to solidify it. Rob Manfred speaks in front of a camera. I regret to inform you. I'm not good at those. I regret to inform you that due to circumstances outside of our own control, we have to shut down the 2020-2021 Major League Baseball season. Wow. Huge bombshell that drops. We can't play. There won't be a season. We talk about it for a day. Day turns into two. Two turns into a week. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about it for 2 weeks. And then Adam Schefter comes out on Twitter. The Patriots are planning on signing Cam Newton to a fill in the blank. Baseball, it was fun. It was cool. Don't get me wrong. I had fun those 2 weeks. It was a nice little fling. It was a nice little distraction. I'm glad I got a little hall pass, if you will, to go hang out with you. But tapping my watch, if you can't see on the stream, time's calling. I got to get back home. This was a great spring break, summer break, if you will, summer fling. I got to get back home because the NFL is calling. Just think about that. At Shander Show, you're more than welcome to disagree. We're live on the streams, twitch.tv/Shander Show, 800-224-2004. Cam Newton signing with the Patriots would actually knock off our discussions about Major League Baseball being canceled. As crazy as that be, could I make the same stretch argument for the NBA being canceled? Probably not. The NHL? You're damn right. All right, coming up, Taiwan baseball began, except there were no fans in the stands. You might not have known that if you were watching. We already know, hopefully you not only watched, but you bet last night on Korean baseball. The KBO is back and ESPN has a broadcast deal. So we go from The Last Dance to Korean baseball. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know anything except what a service or what a friend of mine who knows way more about betting this would tell me, and I'll pass it on. Other than that, like last night, I got a nice little tip, minus 167, so you're paying some juice. But the NC Dinos did it. That, the robotic drummers, and there is also, while the Major League Baseball discussion continues and goes back and forth every single second, it feels like, much like our national conversation, there is a belief out there that the NBA would start on Christmas Day. And that brings up an interesting topic that we'll talk about 11:40 Eastern, about things that are happening from logistical to calendar, things that are happening as a result of the pandemic that should probably stick around once we return to normal. At Shander Show on Twitter, twitch.tv/Shander Show. It's the second level.
SB Nation tonight with John Michaels.
What event do you think you'd have any chance of actually getting done? I'm trying to think. I would probably have to learn how to do one of those shooting events. I was never going to be able to do the javelin. I never could have done.
Did you see the Taiwan stuff?
So I damn sure wasn't going to try to do the.
Yeah. Okay.
over something 20 feet in the air. I don't know that there was anything I could have done. Like the swimming, no. I damn sure wasn't diving unless we could have done a cannonball off the top of the platform. I'm not diving into the water and flipping around like a maniac. You know what? Maybe if I trained for like a year, I might have a shot to play some ping pong against somebody. Although, actually, no, I wouldn't. Those dudes are like 40 feet off the table and they're and that thing's going, the ball's just flying everywhere. I could never.
Are
do
you
that
a better
either. So I don't
rapper,
think
or
there's
is John a
anything
better
I could do in the
beatboxer?
Olympics.
SB Nation tonight, weeknights at 10 Eastern on SB Nation
think?
Radio.
Yes.
Well, what do you mean?
Every time I do, whenever I did karaoke in the
We're not
days,
making fun of
my
John.
answer.
It's
That's my answer.
song. And
All right.
I stink at singing.
Ty
It's just
usually
fun.
In the
means
shower
no.
in the car.
Except, yes.
That's when you're Frank Sinatra.
Oh, that's right. Of course. That's when you Frank Sinatra.
That's how I would look at it too. Funny, true fact. There's no way I'm a better rapper than anything on this planet.
You don't think you're a better rapper than John as a
No.
beatboxer?
No.
That wasn't a great one though, right?
Nah, but I'd say that's still better than what I would dish out.
The LA Lakers, they are an international brand. Applying is the first sin. The second sin is they were approved for it. And then the
Man, all
third
right,
sin
all right.
was they took money. They're
I
giving the money
apologize.
back. But what? How many other sports teams applied for this? Do we know? Do we know how many teams actually went ahead and said,
I will
yeah,
not
I'm
give
a
you that much
billion-dollar
credit in the
entity.
future.
I'm paying my players still. The guy in the corner who owns the sports bar can't keep his lights on, but we're going to take money that's earmarked for him? Oh, wait, the public backlash. We'll give it back. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out in what conversation the Lakers said, this is a good idea. Let's apply for that. Somebody needs to take a long, hard look in the mirror. I know the Lakers think they're hurting, but that guy with the bakery who can't pay his employees, that guy is really hurting. You're not.
Pushing the Odds with Matt Peralt, weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Game time decisions.
What's up, everybody? I am Gabriel Morency, inviting you to join me and the Raging Redhead, Cam Stewart, weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. No games, no problem. The countdown is on. Sports will be back. There are games being played right now in China. We've got German soccer. If there's a line for it, we're going to break it down right here. Weekdays, 6 o'clock, SB Nation Radio. Be here.
Game time decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores. Here's Eitan Shander.
I'm curious. There are 3 different ways this song could be labeled. Is it labeled as deep cover? Because there are 3 different famous versions of, I'd argue, the most famous bass line in rap music history. Ron Culver, I don't even know if you realized how you waded into the pool of greatness by just randomly selecting that rejoin.
Whenever I hit greatness, it's because I've stumbled into it.
Well, okay, you could have belly flopped or back. Well, speaking of which, what a great segue. I caught one thing of the Ocho over the weekend. We didn't really get to it because Monday was jammed with Terry Bradshaw and other stuff. But I saw the death diving.
Yes.
Where you basically belly flop from 10 feet up.
Yep.
Norwegian sport. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
See, there's
Doesn't surprise
value.
me. They look like they dominate.
Well, yes, I feel like you have to have a tough layer of exterior skin, right? And the reason why
basically what you're saying, you're not saying you need to have thick skin to do this.
No.
You can go
Warm
ahead and have
skin.
your feelings hurt. You need to have like whale blubber.
Yes, with the outside being warm. Let's be honest. If you live like Norway, for example, they have brutal winters, right? It gets cold up there, and doesn't mean that it doesn't get warm and nice in the summer, but it gets cold up there. I know climate has shifted throughout the last 20, 30 years and all that, but it's still pretty brutal up there. So even if you're going through it 6-7 months a year, the exterior, the outside of your epidermis, like the ultimate outside layer, remember your epidermis is showing, your skin, right, is seasoned. It's worn. It's like weathered, if you will. It's been beat up in the winter. If you're just hanging out on the port of Portugal or, Lisbon, and you're in the Mediterranean, or you're in Florida or Houston, like Ron Culver, just kicking back in nice climate, then you're not, you'll be more sensitive to the water. So a lot of these, I don't think that it's real, unless you are just limiting it to people in Norway. I think that it's a little unfair to ask somebody from Portugal or Ecuador or Miami or Houston, something like that, to compete with a Norwegian. Does that make sense to you?
Definitely.
Okay. I'm just saying, it's the same thing in this country, right? You and I are going to experience cold differently because I live in the Northeast, where 6 months a year I have to have a coat buttoned up and my head down, and I can't talk. But we don't do that because we wear shorts outside when it's 30 degrees to walk our dog, right? All this stupid stuff that we do. So while I'm much paler than I'm sure you are, I feel like I'm a little more weathered when it comes to the cold. You probably tan a lot easier than me, though, on the flip side.
I put on a jacket as soon as it gets, when it gets into the 60s. Then it starts getting cold. It's like, you know what? I could wear pants right now.
You could definitely get away with it.
But I'm also the type of person, I'm the type of person that, I've done this since high school, living in Southern California. I wear shorts year round, no matter what the weather is.
Yeah.
And if it gets brutally cold, obviously I'm putting pants on, but
other than that, I feel like that's probably it, right?
Yeah, I just gotta go with it.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, look, I'm with you, and I think a lot of us are, where it's 30 degrees or whatever the equivalent of that would be, down 55 or so, and it's, I'm going to wear basketball. I'll put a hoodie on and shorts, right? I mean, it's always the shorts that go last. Even today, it's probably going to be 50 degrees out, wind, not too much sun, and I mean 50 like Philly 50, not Houston 50, with the wind, and I'll wear shorts to walk and play golf or play 9 today. I'll wear shorts, but have like a sweatshirt or something like that up top, something that I could wear that's suitable. But what you're saying is no matter what, right? That's what I'm gathering, that no matter what, you're going to wear the shorts as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I mean, tomorrow morning when I wake up at dark 30, it's supposed to be in the 50s. And I'll probably be wearing shorts.
Okay. Well, look, I think that if there was a dog walking in the cold competition, everybody in the country would be open to that, because no matter how cold it gets around the country, we're all prone, or it doesn't even need to be dogs, it could be walking with your kids or whatever. We're all going to throw the hoodie on and the shorts on when we're cold, or the coat and the shorts on when we're cold. That doesn't stay. That doesn't change. That's always going to be constant. I mentioned this with Taiwan. Now, you saw this. I know a couple of people on Twitter brought this to my attention for the Sunday show, but you watch this, right? The actual videos that came out in Taiwan. Baseball began technically over the weekend, and I'll read you kind of how it looked like, and you could just picture this in your head. There was an actual stadium announcer. Welcome to the one and only live sports game on the surface of the planet, is how it was introduced. And then when you look around initially, you're thinking, well, hold on a second. Are there people in the stands? How do they work this thing out? That's more than 25 people. Those people aren't socially distancing. And then you start to look a little bit with, maybe a squint, or you get the zoom in from the camera and you see the cardboard cutouts, plastic mannequins, all substituted for fans. And they had robot drummers replacing anybody, they have drummers and bands out there in the stands replacing live music. Now, in an effort, this is part of the rules once you're able to do something. In an effort to keep the players safe, spitting is banned. Chewing sunflower seeds are a faux pas. So it's not necessarily banned, but it's kind of like, come on, guy. Are you really going to be spitting those seeds? You can't spit. Are you really going to be pushing this? It's like, the one person who shows up to like the group without the mask. There are also lots more. There's a ton more hand sanitizer in the locker rooms. Now, here's the problem. The one issue that I have, which we've been told by countless medical professionals, no problem with any of this. No spitting, so players can't spit. You shouldn't be chewing sunflower seeds at this point is basically the message. And hand sanitizer is everywhere, which is right. Good. People are still going to be tested. Players are going to be tested coming in and out. But the one thing that doesn't make sense, high fives. Now, they're gone. High fives are gone. But they've been morphed into elbow bumps. Now, how many doctors have told us this, right? You can't elbow bump. It's just going to get. We talked about this. Was it a fake news story, Ron, or something else that came up about the elbows? I think it was the Bundesliga, where you were in the elevator and you were basically told to use your elbows.
Use your elbows to press the elevator buttons.
Oh. Now, coming up, we're going to talk about something with the NBA and how it could actually transfer into a good idea once the pandemic ends and we're back to normal in years to come. But one thing I do like from this whole thing, if you're the Marlins, if you're the Rays, if you're a team that's struggling, couldn't you just close a section off and put mannequins and robotic drummers? Couldn't you get away with that? And I mean like in the next year or two, not this year. When everybody's back to normal, you're still going to have, 10,000 people at most at a game? That's probably being generous. If you know for a Marlins game, you could only get 5,000 people, close down some sections and just fill it with mannequins. I guarantee you they'd probably be more lively than the actual humans there.
Hi, I'm Jay Farn.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Are you able to disconnect and reconnect real quick?
Yep.
Because you're sounding really choppy.
Okay.
Time to refinance
Check,
your
check, check.
mortgage.
1 2 1 2
Our
1 2.
home loan experts are.
Yeah, that's
Still the same?
Still the same, yeah.
Hold on. Let me try the other one.
Equal housing lender, licensed in all 50.
Yo. You there? Gil.
Your findings.
All right.
Call
Nothing?
so that we can find.
Check. 1 2 1 2. I don't know why. I mean,
Well, I'm thinking it's your internet. That's
no. I'm telling you, this is
Now for a free consultation. You may be owed a
no
significant
problem with anything else
compensation.
going on,
Call
and I'm always
1-888-743-72.
connected to a hard line.
yeah. No, I'm just saying maybe in the neighborhood.
Oh, then like something is actually wrong with
Yeah, not
Verizon.
the internet in your house, just
Right.
like the internet your provider or your neighborhood right now is running a little slow or something.
We've been deemed an essential business, so our doors will stay open. We encourage you to buy online, then pick up
tried,
curbside. Together, we're
I
committed.
mean, it's funny because it sounds fine, and then all of a sudden you'll get these patches where it's drive-through speaker sounding. You can
Really?
still understand everything that you're saying. There's just a lot more pops and clicks.
Wow.
Impressive and freaky. CDW can implement secure Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Gen 10 servers that improve speed and performance while reducing costs.
costs. See, predictable. Like right now, it sounds good.
People who get
So let's roll with it.
address cdw.com/HPE.
I'm in your mind, man.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like the Vacnado 2000.
Yeah, that's weird.
A
'cause the
Wi-Fi connected
screen
vacuum that
say
uploads dust
they
bunny
say
data
it's
to the
fine,
cloud for
so maybe
real-time
there's something
optimization.
dragging on the.
Whatever that means.
There's something dragging
But really,
enough.
it's just a very expensive doggy chew toy. With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
From reviews on the latest vehicles to vintage rides to tips on keeping your family safe on the road. If you love cars, trucks, and SUVs and the amazing technology hitting your favorite showroom, check out automotivemap.com. dealing with the root of the issues. It's The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
I want to preface this by saying not everything that happens as a result, if it's streamlining or shortening or changing divisions, not everything that's happened as a result of the pandemic, of the virus, should be permanent. For example, the Premier League is looking at shortening matches, less than 45 minutes per half. More subs, neutral stadium's fine. For whatever reason that they're using this to shorten matches, it's not necessarily needed long term. Now, I can't tell you that I am the biggest, most diehard Premier League fan, but as somebody who understands a little more than the basics of it and not anywhere near an expert of the game, I don't really this isn't like baseball where people are saying they have to find a way to shorten the game. It's too long. We're sitting there. Chances are that if you're looking around stadiums where people are bored in the EPL, which I imagine is very difficult to do, that team stinks. That team's either been relegated or they know they're being relegated. And it's just, hey, my friend had tickets. We might as well do something. The NBA, on the other hand, has an idea that so many of us have been talking about for years. And I actually do think there might be legs here. Coming up before we break this hour, we're going to play, Ron doesn't even know it yet, but we're going to play the Battle of the Busts. And remember, Ron, this is a PG-13 show, so I'm not talking about that.
Oh, man.
Well, we'll still have fun.
All right.
Or at least
you promise.
In my head, we'll have, look, in my head, we'll have fun. Whether or not the bit's executed, you could blame me a post, but
all right.
In
Battle
my head,
of the Bus. When are we doing this?
We'll do this in 6 minutes. Let me get out the NBA thing first. All right.
6 minutes. That's not enough time for me to plan ahead.
Well, you don't even know what we're doing. I just gave you a
don't.
little tease.
Well, if it's not one bust, I'm thinking it's the other.
It's a battle, right? It's got to be one or the other. It's a battle of the bus. So the NBA is thinking about, this is from Shams of The Athletic, the league might push back the start of the season until Christmas Day. Woj put that out last week. The idea would allow for wrapping this season, allowing enough time for the outbreak of the virus to have fans consider again back into arenas. That's not necessary, but it could be something the NBA is factoring in. So when you look at the start of basketball at the end of December, remember the season began on Christmas. It wasn't the first time this year that it was thrown around and then executed, if that would be the case. The 2011 lockout forced the NBA to start on Christmas Day. There's no better time. This is as big, and I hate to use this term, pun, whatever, but man, this is a slam dunk. Every single year, the NBA, you don't even need to change anything with the schedule. You don't need to shorten the playoffs. And I'm not talking this year. I'm talking in general. We're all looking at this moving forward when things return to normal. That's all you need to do is start Christmas Day. Take the 5 biggest games, the 10 biggest teams, or maybe it's a rivalry. Boston, Philadelphia, the 2 LA teams, whatever you want, Milwaukee in there with somebody, Toronto, I don't know, maybe somebody else is fine, but I keep the LA teams together, Philly, Boston together. It's not difficult to do that. You don't need to jam it's going to be the Nets as well. Brooklyn will be in there with a healthy Durant and Kyrie. Man, it's so easy to do this. You have a 5-time header, quintuple header, and that's how you open up the season every single year. Christmas Day games are huge. Don't get me wrong. Still in the NBA, we all look forward to them. When we see the schedule release, you circle it if, in fact, your team is on that. Doesn't matter if you're the first game or the last game. You're watching it. It's awesome. A full day of basketball on TV. That's how you start the season. That's how you begin every single year. And you push it back, of course, because you're going to go deeper into the summer. That lull now is gone, where some people turn to baseball. A lot of people do not. And when you look around at, I don't know, other sports or fans that are kind of longing for some sort of action in that lull, maybe if their baseball team is out by then, because that happens to a third of the league, the pushing back and the extension, if you will, of the NBA playoffs deeper into the summer is never a bad thing. It's not. You stagger a little more with the NHL, which isn't a complete conflict, but you'd be able to stretch out the championships as well. The Cup final, the NBA championship. You go deeper into the summer. And, nothing really infringes on the NFL, and that's what it's really about. Baseball, the NBA championship, the Stanley Cup final. If your team's in it, it's a little more important, right? And of course, I'm being a little facetious here, but it's tons more important. We watch it. It's entertainment. It provides great storyline about legacy. It's definitely valuable. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, it could go away and we wouldn't care. No. These are valuable pieces of the calendar that we look forward to. But when things slow down and when things are over, there's not a lull. You will look immediately at what the NFL has been doing in the offseason. And even if it's right now moving forward, where you still have NBA games that would be going on despite starting or earlier or on Christmas Day, you would still have regular, good season NBA games out there, not just bad basketball race to the end. There's no extending the season. You're not adding it and tiring people out or limiting the double headers just to extend something. All you're doing is just pushing the start back. So it's not something that we haven't seen before, and we're not even asking the NBA to shorten the season like a lockout season. It's way more about just doing what should be done, a normal thing to do, owning that part of December, and pushing deeper into the, fall, if you will. No, spring, pardon me. There's no more seasons in Philly anyway, Northeast. But pushing deeper into the spring and really controlling that post-Super Bowl. That lull, if you will, of the NFL, and doesn't even seem like there's much, is controlled even more with the playoff push. That's one thing the NBA has down pat, and that's the playoff push. At Shander Show, twitch.tv/Shander Show. I just mentioned the Battle of the Bus here. Oh, man, there's Brett Favre news coming out. There's also Pete Rose stuff we'll get to coming up in the second hour. There's an audit about Brett Favre was paid $1 million for appearances he didn't make.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Now, there's also a clubhouse attendant who has accused Pete Rose of using cork bats during his year, 1984, with the Montreal Expos. Those aren't even in the Battle of the Bus. You thought maybe we would talk about Favre allegedly getting busted for no-show appearances or Pete Rose allegedly using cork bats in 1984. Nope. All right, let's start with
you know why you can't have a Battle of the Bus?
Well, not with those two specifically.
One doesn't have one.
In what sense?
Pete Rose, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, I wasn't even talking about that bust. There's
three so different many busts that
I
we
know.
can talk about.
It's just like the bass line of the song that you came back with on the rejoin. There are three different explanations
Which
of what
one,
song it could
187?
be. Yes, Deep Cover. Exactly, is the one. That's the original one, and I maintain is the best bass line, most famous and best bass line in hip-hop rap music history, if you will. So we'll get to Brett Favre, and we'll get to this Pete Rose thing coming up next hour. But here are the busts, and I'm talking about, yes, you got busted. That's the bust I'm speaking of. Let's start with Darren McFadden. This is it's really funny. At the same time, it's sad. And I think it's, the sad part about it is you never want to have a gun and taser pulled on you or see that pulled on anybody that isn't acting in a violent manner towards other people, like, physically looking to cause people harm. That wasn't the case. Darren McFadden, this was in 2019, the DWI arrest, courtesy of TMZ Sports. So McFadden was passed out at a Texas Whataburger drive-thru. You saw this. Now, police were knocking on the window.
I wasn't there.
I thought you filmed it.
Witness it. No, I did not witness this.
Oh, okay. You weren't on your phone filming this.
Because I will be completely honest with you, Whataburger sucks.
Well, that's the Mark Wahlberg thing.
No, Whataburger. That's Whataburger is a chain restaurant that Texas swears by.
Okay, I've never.
But
had
I didn't grow up with it in Southern California. I came here. I will say this. They do have a good breakfast sandwich. And if you're looking for biscuits and gravy from a fast food place, that is the joint you go to. Other than that, their burgers are greasy.
Okay, look, that's fair.
But Texans swear by it. Darren McFadden, what probably happened is, probably was drinking a little bit.
Yeah,
clearly. Had some Whataburgers. The grease hit him, and he passed out.
McFadden had his foot on the brake so the car was still in drive, and that grease
so scary.
Must have been so good, Ron. Yeah, it is.
No, that grease. I mean, it literally went right down to his foot, and thank God he had his foot on the brake. Went right down to his foot, gave him a lead foot.
Yes, up until he kind of moved a little bit and took his foot off the brake.
Yeah.
And that's when the car went right into the side of the Whataburger. Now, maybe that was a result of him not liking the burger. Maybe his body reacted and said, get this out of my system.
Why are we tasing him then? We should be giving this man a medal.
Seriously, if he stood up to Whataburger like that, spoke truth to power to Whataburger by slamming into the side of the building, maybe we're looking at this wrong.
I'm so hoping I get all the hate mail from Whataburger lovers.
Well, at Ron Culver is how you can tweet him. So McFadden, behind the wheel, he's passed out. He almost drove through a building. There were broken windows. And, of course, he was so drunk that there was an altercation with police. It's old. It's not new by any means, but the video makes it new because we got to see that video. We got to see what actually physically happened, and it's a terrible look. But at the same time, I mean, the guy was just blacked out, belligerent. I don't even know how the heck the guy got behind the wheel. Nobody else was in the car either, which is another terrible statement about, dude, just have somebody, even if you need a Whataburger like that, you need to have somebody drive you. You need to have somebody get behind the wheel so that you aren't allowing your true emotions and hatred of Whataburger to manifest it into crashing into the side of the building. So that's one. Now, the other one is Novak Djokovic. And I don't know how familiar you are with the Joker story that happened, Ron.
The Joker story?
Yes. So the Joker went full Djokovic and not only broke Spain's rules for social distancing by playing tennis with another man, but filmed it and basically put out a video on, I believe, Instagram of him playing tennis and kind of mocking, maybe not even on purpose, but mocking the rules of social distancing by saying, look, I can do it. I can go out. I can play tennis. Look at this. And filmed it on top of that. So a lot of local Spaniards, as you can imagine, are pretty heated that he's kind of flaunting the rules in their face. McFadden at least kept it to his beef, no pun intended, with himself and Whataburger.
Yeah, except for driving through the restaurant.
Well, yes, exactly. The casualties of war, unfortunately.
There's that little thing.
Yes, sorry, that small little detail I might have overlooked. But the Novak Djokovic, here's the thing. I feel like we've seen videos like that before where somebody a celebrity is just so bent and so blacked out, maybe belligerent or maybe passed out, that it's like, dude, come on, really? Like, how drunk? Not to say that I didn't enjoy the humor of the first part of it where they were, shaking the car. I mean, they were basically almost flipping the car over to try to get him to wake up. But I almost feel like, I don't know, desensitized to something like this. Whereas in the climate that we're all in, can you imagine the equivalent, I don't know, Alex Judge going out in the middle of like the Bronx and just playing in a park, going out there and filming it? I don't know how well that would go over. Djokovic doing that in Spain, he's got a lot of people heated at him. I hate to put a hierarchy on it and say which is worse, but for some reason, the Djokovic one stood out to me more, maybe because it's just the current climate that we're in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We'll wrap the hour next here on the second level.
Hey, everybody. RJ Ochoa.
Is it doing it again?
SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com, home for the best coverage on the web and digital.
Now I hear you.
Podcast feed, the Blog of the Boys.
You what?
Now I hear you going
That's
in and
right.
out.
Well, I was doing that.
Oh,
because
okay.
I'm still hearing the popping sound.
We are?
Multiple shows.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
Our two-time Super Bowl champion Tony Casillas is part of our rotation, and we want to make sure you are as well. We're available on Apple, Spotify,
Why do
and
you think
wherever
it would
else
be
you get your
okay
podcasts. So don't miss out.
on
Subscribe
the
to the Blog of the
stream,
Boys
but not
podcast feed
on
today.
the hard
Wake
line.
up call.
Because the stream is going
Who
on
as a country
Wi-Fi.
do we trust?
Right. Well,
You think there's something different?
no, I think it's because you're broadcasting right from there to the computer. You're sending this to me, via wires and.
No, I'm
could be
sending
stormed
the
away.
Comrex to the.
I know, right? On the one
I'm sending
hand,
the
I want to
Comrex
know what the other hand
and
is
my
doing.
mic to the
And my
stream.
Dr.
Like
Fauci impression
I'm
is
sending
more
my
like,
mic
it's
to
more
both
like
the Comrex and the
if
stream.
you have two
and I'm
people in
sending
a room,
you and the
it's
commercials
better
to the
if one
stream
of
as
them
well.
leaves.
I have no idea then.
Future, let's say you're taking your
Maybe
family
there's
to a
some weather
restaurant
issues. I gotta
and
check.
there's 4 of you. It's better to just get 4 tables. And please limit the visitation to maybe once every 2 weeks. That would be the best. To keep this completely under control.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Pharrell,
Coast to coast. It's Pharrell, coast to coast, every day, 4 to 6. I talk to the biggest names in sports. I talk to GMs, coaches, owners, players, and they're all doing the same thing. They're laughing, and they're breaking up, and they don't know whether they're coming or going when I'm done with them. I'm giving you what you want. Sports, down your throat, big time on SB Nation, baby.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. The second level. The second level.
This level of hatred really isn't duplicated in sports. Yeah, you can be indoctrinated into the UNC Duke stuff while you're there. You're constantly seen and immersed in it all. No. And again, it's not even the jersey. What's beyond that? This level of hatred. 2 Hall of Famers, 2 of the best that have ever played their respective positions, and in MJ's case, the best ever, if you want to have that argument without centers, right? So all of this compounded by the pettiness that drove MJ to keep Isaiah off the Olympic team. Again, you don't find that in sports. This isn't just Tobacco Road and the rivalry that's UNC and Duke. Of course, that's one of the oldest and one of the go-to rivalries, but hatred, I think, supersedes a rivalry.
The second level. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. Scratching beneath the surface. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
All right, so Frank Gore is not retiring anytime soon. Signs a 1-year deal with Adam Gase and the New York Jets. Of course, they have a pretty good running back in front of him, but with the expectations of taking some carries and a little bit of the physical pressure and wear and tear off of Bell, you have the ability also to have them both on the field, with Le'Veon being a great receiver as well. So Frank Gore is not somebody that I would count out heading into his 16th season for just being there, but just being on the sidelines. But this is a very interesting question in my head right now to me, and I don't know if it is to anybody else. So if it isn't, Ron Culver will just shut me down because we only have about 90 seconds before we break anyway. But who's the equivalent in the NBA, NHL if you want, Major League Baseball? Who's the equivalent of Frank Gore? And
That's
this
easy.
guy, what?
That's easy.
Who?
In the NBA?
Yes.
Vince Carter.
Wow. I'd have to think about that. Is Vince Carter... See, Gore has the numbers behind him. I'd imagine Vince has some pretty good numbers that
Vince
hold
is up there.
Yes.
Been playing forever.
Well, does he run the risk of being a compiler?
Who, Vince? Well, Vince finally called it quits.
No, I'm saying
maybe
for the
he'll
last...
come back because he didn't get to finish the season.
I mean, look, for the last 9 years, he wasn't dominating like that Vince we know. Well, I tell you, Vince Carter, for his first 6 or 7 years, you really have a point there. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you in hockey, though. In baseball, Bartolo Colon.
Introducing
All right, let me try to
AutomotiveMap.com,
reconnect.
a brand new website for anyone interested in what's happening in the world of automobiles.
What's going on? You all right? I heard him barking. Maybe the oil? You gotta wait a little bit, bud. Okay.
Radio. SB Nation Tonight with John Michaels.
All right, I'm here.
We don't know that 16 days from now things might not be trending in a good direction. I'm going to continue to take the glass half full.
What do we do?
I'm
Just
continuing
keep
to plan
going
as if
through?
college
Is there anything
football
we
and
can
pro
do to
football
fix
is
it?
gonna happen.
Probably not.
It wasn't happening like that with Tony this morning?
No.
Shit.
I'll be up.
That's why I'm thinking it's more maybe Philly area. I mean, the only thing we can really do, the only thing you could do is reset your Comrex unit, but I wouldn't worry about doing that today. I mean, if it starts early tomorrow, we'll be able to tell right away, and we can say, hey, let's try to fix that.
Yeah, because
But
I
think-
also, I'm
But
sorry.
I think it's just weather.
Yeah, because I had to record something
But
this morning
now we're forced to sort of
and
reevaluate
connect
the important things
to
in life.
iHeart,
I think
and I
it's-
didn't have that issue. But
Yeah,
again,
I've
that
said
was
this for a long
like
time.
9
If you have
a.m.
Yeah, it also could be, just people using internet in the area.
Right.
You could just be getting a lower.
Well, I've
a lower
never
drive.
had that though.
I know.
The more we can practice.
I mean, we had that happen at our house the other day, where the internet was just slow.
Mhm.
It was actually yesterday, because my wife, she was trying to upload something, couldn't get it taken care of. She's like, "Why is the internet so slow?" I was like, I have no idea.
Is that right? So you
yeah,
had no
it comes and goes. Is because there's so many people working from home right now using the internet
Mm.
instead of being at an office where because if you're in an office setting, like here, the internet's supposed to be off the roof, off the charts, high. You get a ton of bandwidth because everyone needs to have be able to connect online.
Right.
At home, most people don't have that, but when everyone's using it at the same time, kind of creates traffic jams.
Got it. Okay.
From 4
Hold
p.m.
on one
to
second.
6
Let me
p.m.
try to
Eastern.
fix one more.
This is the Big E Sports Show on SB Nation Radio.
Hi, this is Elissa Walker Campbell, host of the Big E Sports Show that airs every Friday night from 8 to 10 Eastern right here at SB Nation Radio. Every week we promise to deliver the biggest and best in sports and go beyond the X's and O's. Some of our guests include Dick Vermeil, Tony Dungy, Dan Reeves, and Rick Carlisle. We've always got you covered.
Hear the Big E Sports Show every Friday night from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on SB Nation Radio.
Wake up call.
There was a little photo that was released, and it was of Alex Smith's leg.
Oh my God, I thought this was fake. And then I found out it wasn't.
Why do we look at it?
Seriously, it's the car crash culture, right?
Yes.
We're rubbernecking
We
in a car
need to
crash.
see this.
We have to see. If you're in a traffic jam and you realize there's an accident, you all look. We all look to want to know how severe was it.
Well, this
Oh my God,
Favre
what's
thing
going
is pretty
on?
serious,
But they
the
don't care.
allegations,
for us
at
to
least.
see. I showed it to my kids.
Oh,
I said, "Hey,
Yeah, you could be screwed.
come here, you got to see this photo." I said, "This will haunt your dreams for years. Look at this."
Amazing. If Alex Smith ever returns to a football field, I'll
I mean, they're talking about welfare embezzlement.
You're so right about looking. I just could not. Oh, but look.
Well, it comes across your timeline, and you're looking at it like, "Yeah, why not? I'll take a look
couldn't
at
stop
it."
staring at it. I just could not. This is freaking out.
Yeah, like I said, I had to go and show other people. I needed other people on my train. Like, dude, I'm about to throw up. Come here. Come check this out.
Wake Up Call with Tony D and Ron Culver. Weekday mornings. Game Time Decisions.
I'm Gabriel Morency, inviting you to join me and the Raging Redhead Cam Stewart weekdays at 6 Eastern on SB Nation Radio, the loudest station in the nation. No games, no problem. We've got your back. Weekdays at 6, we throw it down. Best bets, props. If they're playing, we'll find a number on it. Bring it. Weekdays at 6, SB Nation Radio, Game Time Decisions.
Game Time Decisions with Gabe Morency and Cam Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern.
You're going on a trip, but where are you going to stay? How much will it cost? Well, it'll cost less by booking on besthotelrates.com. BestHotelRates.com works with all the top hotels in the country while delivering you great hotel and room choices for the best prices. Why wait? Go to besthotelrates.com, enter your email address, and start shopping for your next hotel room. BestHotelRates.com, it's in the name. BestHotelRates.com.
Set your system's volume control for slightly above the normal listening level.
Let's go. Second level thinking is defined as looking beyond the easy, obvious conclusions.
You got to do some smart thinking.
Welcome to the second level. On SB Nation Radio,
And on SBNationRadio.com.
where we go beyond the box score. Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is with you every step of the way. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's your host, Eitan Shander.
Yeah, we have to get to Pete Rose. There's another Pete Rose story in the news. And my goodness, you talk about just something that would come out that would continue to further your worldview about Pete Rose. This would be it. Also, the story about Brett Favre is not good at all as far as the allegations are concerned. When you have welfare embezzlement, welfare fraud thrown around in a situation that you are allegedly involved in, well, we're going to have to talk about that. There could be some good news with the postponement. As I saw this, the Nunes-Spencer fight is moved now from this weekend, which was slated to be in Australia, to the United States on June 6th, which is more signs of progress in the UFC world that this fight and future fights will continue to be allowed in the United States outside of even Florida. So that's that's different than Major League Baseball coming out with multiple conflicting reports yesterday demanding on one side that, no, it will happen. I promise you what will happen, to other people being basically like, I don't know where you're hearing this from, but all the people I talked to, from Keith Law and others, and I'm not saying me, Shander, but Keith and others who reported, said the same thing, which is there's no ground at all founded in MLB returning at that proposed date, or at the very least, maybe, but things are going to change if, in fact, they get worse with people returning. Now you have at least Dana White, the UFC, looking to capitalize on a fight in Vegas at their own complex, but we still have that battle that UFC has been fighting with Vegas specifically, and Nevada, the State Athletic Commission, trying to get it sanctioned. That's the hurdle to look at. All right, you want to talk about the hypothetical and when baseball's coming back, July this, July that. Let's look at Nevada itself sanctioning two people fighting in a ring where we already know there'll be no fans. A lot more difficult, I get, to control a baseball season than it is a UFC fight, but maybe signs of progress.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans
Still
and
bad?
Rocket Mortgage. During the challenging times we're all experiencing,
It comes and goes.
and safety of the communities we serve. And while it's true that things are changing rapidly every day, one thing that'll never change is our commitment to giving you the best mortgage experience. At Rocket Mortgage, our guiding philosophy of every client, every time, no exceptions, no excuses, exists for times like right now. We understand that hardships may arise, and we're prepared to help. If you currently work with us and need assistance with your mortgage, contact us 24/7 at rocketmortgage.com. As we all think about ways to save money, let me remind you that mortgage rates are near historic lows, If you think right now is the right time to refinance your mortgage, our home loan experts are available to help you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at rocketmortgage.com.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Number 3030.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Message and data rates may apply.
Hi, I'm Frank Thomas, the Big Hurt. After I left baseball, I just couldn't stay in shape like I used to. Turns out, once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone, and that can make it harder to get into shape. So I got back into the game with Nugenics. I'm feeling stronger with a lot more energy and drive. You want to get back into shape? Get Nugenics. All you have to do is send one simple text.
Frank's right. Just text MAINE to 321321 to get a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics, the #1 selling free testosterone booster at GNC. Its unique man-boosting formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate.
And guys, she'll like the difference too.
Nugenics samples are not available in stores. To get your complimentary bottle, text MAINE to 321321. That's MAIN to 321321.
Over 2.5 million airline passengers fly every day in the United States. Those passengers depend on reliable airplanes, and those planes need certified aircraft technicians. That's where you come in. We are the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, and we train tomorrow's technicians. We train our students hands-on with real aircraft, develop their skills, and prepare them for real jobs in the industry. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports the average aircraft technician in the United States makes over $62,000 a year.
The job opportunity is there. The money is there.
If you want to work with your hands, it's a perfect place for you.
Call 800-876-0097.
I'm very impressed with the AIM curriculum. The school's keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
The potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train tomorrow's technicians.
800-876-0097. 800-876-0097.
Pretty down night right now. Is it Taco
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
See, there are some things that I'm actually happy I don't know. This song being one of them.
Well, you wouldn't know it. It just dropped today.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Who is this? This is fresh breaking news. Ron, call. What are you, Pete Rock, dropping fresh hits on us?
I'm just doing what I can do. This is Migos or Migos. I don't even know how to say his name.
No,
Migos.
No, there are actually three of them, but yes, Migos.
Okay.
I do know that there are three of them in Migos.
Right.
Boy, I'm so happy.
Migos?
Yeah, I'm so happy. I have no idea that I couldn't identify A, who it was, and B, after hearing the Taco Tuesday thing.
You know who that was.
Well, that was LeBron, of course.
Of course.
Now, look, I mean, to be fair, the Migos are not there to, they're not doing serious music. They're not trying to send like serious messages. They're having fun. They're kids. They're having fun.
Yes.
So I can't hate on them. It's just, like Common once said years ago, I don't hate on it if it's not for me, it's not for me. Which I imagine would be a great, we could replace the golden rule with that. If it's not for me, it's not for me. That's like the 2020. That's what should be the 2020 updated version of the goal. Because otherwise, it's spend 10 minutes going out of your way, ripping and crushing, and just it's exhausting, isn't it? I don't listen to the Migos, but what does it do for me if I go nuts and crazy yelling for 4 or 5 minutes about how bad the Migos are? Nothing, right? I would think. I didn't realize that you were such a Migos fan.
No, I saw that dropped. It was called Taco Tuesday. Today happens to be the tacoist of Taco Tuesdays.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Is there any other way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo outside of a margarita?
Probably not.
Okay, just making sure.
Now, have you seen the meme that has been going around? The clever one that I must say is actually pretty clever.
Well, you have to be a little more specific.
The Twilight Zone meme that's been hitting all over the place today.
Hold on, let me look it up as we speak. because I doubt that I have, but you never know. Some of these things, these things I've seen, but then I wouldn't tell you.
It's Cinco de Mayo related. That's why I bring it up. Basically,
I have not. Is there a way you can describe it?
Yes, it's Rod. It's just a black and white photo of Rod Sterling sitting there like he normally did during the Twilight Zone, getting ready to, picture, if you will, that thing. And it says, picture, if you will, a world where Cinco de Mayo falls on a Taco Tuesday, only to be ruined by a virus ironically called Corona.
Interesting. That's probably a good indication, right? If there was ever a brand association, now you know better to go for a Corona. All of you who are drinking the Corona.
We still go for come on.
Corona is a terrible option.
No, just order your bats well done. Come on,
your
people.
what?
Your bats.
What do you mean your bat? Oh, no. I'm not even talking about the virus. I'm talking about the fallout for the beer. Like if there was now people are awake.
Did you see the other one they offered? I think they offered Bud Light $100 million to take the name.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Well, then people would be. No, I don't want to keep going down the list of domestic beers, but that is nuts. I did not see that, and I'm trying to find it now, but it is hilarious, right?
Oh, I don't think it was real. I think it was just like, something they put out on Twitter, like, hey, Bud Light, we'll offer you $100 million if you take the name.
Okay, I didn't know if there was actual.
I don't think there's like an actual negotiation.
A contract on the table?
Yeah, no.
Well, what would it cost? It would cost more than that because
my God, it would have to cost. And you couldn't go to Bud Light. You'd have to go to somebody else.
But here's the thing: could you not buy it here? So you would have to take the name, meaning your product is now called Corona, as opposed to you're not buying Corona. You're not buying the company that manufactures and distributes Corona beer. You're just taking that name from them. Like everything is trademarked, right? I'm sure Corona is trademarked from a standpoint of beer. So you're basically buying that name. It would probably, I would probably charge like $500 million, I think would be the baseline for me.
Yeah, here we go. It's a spoof article, but Corona offers $15 million to help change coronavirus name to Bud Light virus.
Did you have that for fake news today?
No.
Okay, just making sure we didn't knock. We did
no, I'm not going to double dip.
All right, just making sure.
That story's been around forever.
Yeah, it has been. All right, we'll get to fake news in 6 minutes. Before that,
says you
7 minutes. Before that, though,
just adding more time now.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, because this Favre thing, I have more information.
8 minutes.
We'll attempt, ambitious as it may sound, we'll attempt to hit fake news in 8 minutes from now. At 25 after the hour, I even tweeted that. So that would be right on track with our clock here. Mississippi is now investigating welfare fraud, and it found that federal money allotted for the state's Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TAMF, was used to pay a nonprofit connected to none other than Brett Favre for a speech he never delivered. So this is what they found. The state's auditor found $1.1 million owed and paid to Brett Favre for a speech he never gave. It gets worse. I'm reading. Mississippi's Department of Human Services is accused of embezzling nearly $98 million from the federal government that was supposed to be used to help the state's poorest and most at risk. So it's not just, hey, Favre got paid $1 million for a speech he didn't deliver. What the hell's the issue, Shander? Why are you bringing this up? This is wrapped up, allegedly, of course, into something much bigger. Bad purchases by the department include football tickets, concert tickets, and more. One woman purchased 3 trucks with embezzled cash. 3 trucks. Ooh. See, here's the thing, Culver. You know this. What do they tell you? In the caper movies and the TV shows, you have this big heist. And what do they say? Don't spend the money. And some idiot goes out, just like in Ozark, where the therapist bought that fancy car. Don't spend the money. Whatever you do, whatever you're embezzling, whatever you steal, whatever safe you crack, don't spend the money. And I guarantee you, this woman or somebody else involved in that ring went out and spent that money, and that's how they opened up the door to catch him.
And that what impresses me, 3 trucks.
Why stop at 2?
That's impressive. 3 trucks.
That's probably. What do you think?
That money was burning a hole in her pocket.
That's got to be at least $300,000.
Trucks?
Yeah.
No, so she bought 3 trucks. That's got to be, you said $300,000, $100,000 truck.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, think about this, Ron. Think about
You're
this.
talking about like a pickup truck, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about like an Escalade or something to that, a souped out, maybe even a higher end version of that. Why would
150
you total?
Yeah.
No, wait. See, again,
$50,000 per vehicle.
The same person that's going out and spending embezzled money on 3 trucks is not going to fly under the radar and get a couple of Tonka trucks. They're going to spend as much as they
Unless
can
that's
on
what
each
she
truck.
thinks was okay to do.
No.
It's like if I don't go for the really high end truck,
she bought 3 of them.
Get something I just need to get me to and from, but I need the 3 different versions of it.
You're giving this person, I don't know why, you're giving this person way too much credit. I mean, they were dimed out as the one who bought the 3 trucks. I guarantee you there's a connection between her purchases and the state or technically the feds actually figuring this thing out.
So how does Brett Favre?
Okay.
Brett Favre was just taking the money?
Let's look at this. So there are questions at the end of this. How much trouble do we think Favre is in for the link to Mississippi's welfare fund embezzlement? And should Mississippi now have to clean house at the DHS, right, their Department of Human Services? I think Favre could get out of this like anybody who is selling the embezzlers a service or something physical. But here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. The one thing is, if I have 10 tickets and somebody buys that with embezzled money, I don't know. If I don't vet it, and I shouldn't have, as somebody who is legally selling tickets as a vendor, I shouldn't have to vet every single purchase. Somebody pays $100,000 in cash for, season tickets for an entire row. Okay, great. That's a check. It's part of my business. It's declared. It goes through. But if I'm paying somebody with embezzled money to do something they don't do, like, hey, we paid Ron Culver's travel agency $1 million for $1 million worth of football tickets. Okay, well, where are the tickets? And you can't trace the tickets back. Guess who's in trouble? The people who paid for it and Ron Culver. That's where I think Brett Favre is in some really deep water right now, as hot as it may be, because it's not like he showed up and did the speech. He may not have known that money was embezzled, but I don't know if he gets that benefit of the doubt because he is essentially a no-show job and got paid over $1 million for it. So that's where I think ultimately the connection with Favre and all of this is a little dirtier and a little muddier. Maybe it's just simply a little more unclear, if you will, than it would be simply if I had, like, for example, and does this make sense? The car dealership where that woman bought the 3 trucks allegedly with the embezzled money. The car dealership, the truck dealership's not in trouble. They took money. It's not the car dealership can look and say, okay, is this person in any trouble? Things like that. Credit, things along those lines, but they're not going through. They're not holding up the $20 bills and a stack of cash or $100 bills up to the light to make sure, taking it with that marker to make sure it's counterfeit. Taking a check or an account, depending on where it is, the embezzled money. They're not, I don't think, in trouble, or at the very least, it's a lot easier to deny culpability. But I believe Brett Favre might be at the very least straddling this line, and that's going to be a tough one. Like, how do you not show up for his speech and take that $1 million? Who is he, a politician?
Probably. That's probably how he feels. It's the Mississippi way.
You think so?
No, I don't think it's the Mississippi way.
Apparently, it's the state way.
I don't know, Brett Favre.
Boy, this is not a good look, man.
It seems like he's really, really trusting that maybe he was told, hey, we're going to give you this money. You don't have to do anything about it. He was like, oh, okay. Maybe you should go buy some more blue jeans. I don't know.
Come on.
I really don't know.
You're talking about declared money. You can't hide $1.1 million in the mattress.
Tell me about it. Well,
you've tried.
You can, because that only explains why Mattress Firm has so many stores in every corner of this country. You ever wonder why there's so many mattress stores?
I noticed though that the like there are different versions, like Family Dollar, Dollar Tree, all that. There are different versions of mattress. Mattress King, Mattress Firm, Mattress Warehouse.
Yep.
Are they all connected?
I don't know if they're all connected, but just next time you're driving around, there's a whole thread, a Reddit thread on Mattress Firm being a money laundering spot.
I will.
People don't buy mattresses all too often, and there's so many of them.
Fake news coming up. We were off a little bit on the time. Real quick, at Ari Russell agrees with you, Ron Culver. NHL is Claude Giroux. The NHL version of Frank Gore is Claude Giroux. The NBA, according to Ari, probably Vince Carter. Now, here's one to think of, all right? And I wonder if it'll knock you off your Vince Carter hill. Chris Paul. Think of that.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess not. We tried. Fake news next.
Wake up call.
And one of the things I do like about Rodgers,
Paul doesn't have the longevity yet.
this league, and even veterans in this league who tend to not speak their mind, Rodgers speaks his mind.
I don't know,
He's going to
man.
probably have a lot to say about this.
I've been playing forever,
10,
looking old.
18, 20. Vince Carter's played 24 years. You're not going to find that.
So.
Wake up call
That's
with
Tom
Tony
Brady
D and
level.
Ron Culver. Weekday morning.
True.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Dan Blackaboga was doing this here. I'm putting the odds. The most angry I've ever been at you was when you shot me with a paintball gun.
No, it hasn't changed at all. You just have to deal with it. Don't worry about it.
A girl involved or something, to be honest with you. That's usually how these things work. But I do remember it because it was radio promotion. We were at this paintball place, and I think we were just getting on each other's nerves like 20-year-old dudes do. And you put your hands up, and I took a free shot at you. And you did not appreciate it one bit. So I don't know if I ever apologized for that, but if I didn't, sorry, Matt.
I remember my rib cage being like so sore for like 3 days afterward. You hit me like 4 times. It wasn't like one shot. It was like multiple pulling pulls of the trigger too that you got me on.
Geez,
So.
it's like you completely have not forgotten about it.
Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault. Weekday afternoons from 1 to 4 Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Pharrell.
Coast to coast! I do Pharrell coast to coast on SB Nation from 4 to 6 Eastern. It's my Sports Grid show. I know you love it. I'm talking to the coolest people in sports, unique characters, you name it, I bring it to you. Wait and get a load of me when I'm on at 7 p.m. Eastern. We do a show called In Game Live, where I show you how much of an in-game betting problem that I have.
Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. SB Nation Tonight with John Michaels.
Did you see the latest on Kevin Durant where he said he played with a bunch of athletes, but not a bunch of guys that can shoot or play? Dude, Russell Westbrook and James Harden were on your team. I get it. Kendrick Perkins wasn't a very skilled big man. Thabo Sefolosha was a great defensive guy, and that's it. Don't do this 6, 7, 8 years later where you're calling guys out. You sound like a candy ass when you do that. I thought it was soft as hell when he left, but to not be hypocritical, it is free agency. You are free to go play wherever the hell you want when you're a free agent. But why years later are you trashing guys that you used to play with? And whenever you're healthy again, you're now going to play against. I'm going to tell you, if I'm Russell Westbrook and I'm James Harden and I go against Kevin Durant, I'm putting the Slim Reaper on his rear end, telling him, shut the hell up. You were part of the reason we couldn't get the job done.
SB Nation Tonight, weeknights at 10 Eastern.
All right, man. Don't tell me you don't know this song.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And on SBNationRadio.com.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Thank goodness. I have no idea what this song is, so I can't search.
So
for it.
lying to yourself, man.
I promise, if you play bad music that I know, I'll have fun with it. Not that I won't have fun with this, but all right. I tell you what. let's play a game here, okay? In 11 minutes, John McMullen's going to join us, our NFL insider on the Second Level, Jacob Media, and
You want me to play this for him?
I do. I want to
right.
come out of the break
With this song?
Yes, and just have it.
You got it, yeah.
Now, I'll
We
give
can do that
you.
again.
I'll give you 2-1 odds. All right, on no, and we could bet a Whataburger or your burger of choice.
God.
I'll Venmo you your burger of choice if you win. But I'll give you 2-1 odds. No way he knows it. If he wins, or if he does know it, and he gets it right, I'll give you 2-1 on yes. Will you take that?
Now this, you don't have to have kids to know this song.
I get it. I really get it.
I just want you to know that.
No,
that's not a kid's song.
I appreciate that about you, though.
It kind of is a kid's song,
It
but it's
might
not
be.
a kid's song.
But that's the difference between you and somebody who would corner me with just a kid, like a Raffi song or something like that, where you have to know kids, or have kids, I should say, to know the song. You give me stuff that might be kid friendly or kid themed, but the average adult should know this. Is that fair?
Well, you should know that now. You should know. You got to play it tonight. When you're upstairs making tacos and having margaritas, because it's Cinco de Mayo, put on some Perry Grip. That's
Perry
his name.
Grip.
Perry Grip. PARRYGRIPP.
Let's see if McMullen knows that. All right.
Yep.
Let's hit it. Fake news. You've got 4 stories. We probably won't be able to finish it before the break.
Oh, we're gonna go through it quickly. You ready? Here we go. Story number 1. A guy throws almost $1 million in cash out the window during a car chase after allegedly driving across the country to buy some weed.
Man, how bad is it in your neighborhood, your town, your greater county, your state, your region, that you have to drive, unless the only thing I can think of is the connect died, like something broke down, like the chain of command broke down, and your dealer who gets it from a supplier, who gets it from a manufacturer / distributor, the chain broke down, and your dealer said, look, man, I can't do anything for another 2 weeks. Well, how do I get around that? I need to get around that. I need something now. Well, you could drive, if they're in New York, to California. You could drive to Florida. I don't know how else that would make sense to drive for weed of all things across country, but he gets busted because he threw Now, how did he get this is like Nate Newton running a red light with 500 pounds in your trunk?
I would think that. Well, he hadn't bought the weed yet. He was tossing money out the
okay.
He had the money in cardboard boxes.
Yeah,
about
$1 million gets
$915,000.
That's a supplier distributor right there. That's $1 million.
Yep. And he drove from New York to LA.
Man, it's a shame they didn't have one of those cold freezer things that explodes like in Raising Arizona.
Yes.
Those blue things that you would put in the bag. All right, so that's story 1. Believable.
Story 1.
Although the weed thing kind of threw me off. Like, I bet this is a fake story because he was really driving to get cocaine or some hard drug.
Story number 2. In the year of 2020.
This year?
In the year 2020, this year, a man walked into a supermarket in San Diego wearing a KKK hood as his mask.
Yes. Now, again, I have to take myself, recuse myself from this story. Now, the most bizarre thing about it for a lot of people wasn't just the initial shock of seeing a jackass wearing a Klan hat in the middle of a supermarket. It was people responding saying, yeah, they pretty much call that place Klanty because it's assumed that there is so much hotbed bigoted activity that people feel comfortable walking around like that. So I do know that's probably the most unfortunate story that we've had this week, where you're thinking, oh, please let it be fake. Please let it be fake. And then when you find out it's real, it's like, oh, just another sign of how much we still need to clear. That's not like the strippers in Oregon with the drive-through where you're just hoping, please be real, please be real. Right? It's the opposite.
Yeah, I was going to bring up another stripper story because I guess now they're in Virginia Beach or Florida or something like that. They're popping up all over the place.
No, actually,
drive-through strip clubs are now the thing.
Apparently, it's not a drive-through strip club. Apparently, it's a testing site in Florida.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Where they're offering strippers while you wait?
Yes.
That's not a bad idea.
That's a great idea. Are you kidding me?
That's entrepreneurship. That's the equivalent of a Girl Scout selling her cookies outside of a weed dispensary.
Abso-freaking-lutely. Ingenuity at its finest. All right, what's story 3?
Story number 3. Serving a suspension from Major League Baseball, Alex Cora has taken his talents to Japan and managing the Hanshin Tigers.
Wow, I feel like I should know this if it's true, which leads me to believe it might be false. But then again, we're all living under a rock until somebody says, hey, did you hear about this? Boy, that is a tough one right now. All right, the one thing I'm struggling with is I feel like that would be gigantic, bigger than Pete Rose allegedly using a corked bat. But I'll have to hear the 4th story and reserve my judgment on it.
Story number 4. Tom Cruise and Elon Musk are working on a project with NASA that would be the first narrative film shot in outer space.
Yeah, I have no problem believing this whatsoever. And here's the thing. I know at some point we should mention with the Nicolas Cage now is playing Joe Exotic.
Yeah, well, I was leaving that one alone because I don't think I'm Tiger King fatigued.
Well, I'm Nicolas Cage fatigued. And then
you can never be Nicolas Cage fatigued.
Oh, man, you and I might have to bring Dan Buffa back on the show, noted St. Louis sports expert and film critic, because he, like you, trying to convince me that there's value in Nicolas Cage.
I'll never convince you that there's value in Nick Cage.
You never will.
No.
Oh, so you're on my side.
I just say that you can't really get tired of white noise.
Fair enough. Did you ever see that movie, by the way, with Michael Keaton? Not a bad movie.
No.
It's not bad. It really wasn't.
I'll check it out.
All right, so I think I know story 2 is true, unfortunate as it may be.
Yes.
Clanty is true. Story 4, I have no problem whatsoever believing that think of the characters that you put. You should have changed the names to make it more believable. Maniac Musk and Maniac Cruz creating this maniac theory of shooting a movie live in space. So that leaves Alex Cora. And what was the first one again?
Throwing $1 million out in a car chase.
Alex Cora for me.
You know what? You are correct, sir.
Look at you. You tried to get me with a sports one. You really have no high value of my opinion.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage.
That was
During
great.
these challenging times, our commitment to providing you with the best mortgage experience remains. We understand that hard.
No, that was really good.
The San Diego one. You saw the news. I didn't live too far away. I had some friends actually lived in Santee, and they hated it. They hated the fact that it was known as Clan-T.
I saw, and the only reason why I saw it was before it went viral, but it was on one of these sheets, sites that I'm on. It was like about to be viral, and they showed this picture.
Call the Belvique
And
Advocates
I
at
went to
1-888-743-7254.
like a Guardian.
You may be at increased risk
But I
for
went
cancer,
because they always link
including
like
pancreatic,
6 different
colorectal, and lung
ones.
cancer.
And
But
I
you
was
may be
reading some
entitled to the
comments because
compensation.
I knew it
Call
would
for
be
free
just a
review of your
wasteland of
case at
ignorance and hatred. But
1-888-743-7254. In
the majority of
February
comments
2020,
were
the
people
FDA
like your
requested that the
friends
manufacturer
who had
of Belvique
moved
withdraw
out
the drug from the
and
market
basically
due to
said that
cancer
they
findings.
couldn't live there
Call
anymore
so that we can
because it
fight
was
for a
just,
compensation
and they
to
were
cover your
saying like they
medical bills
looked
and
like the
more.
people
If
who were
you've
in
been diagnosed with
white people, if
pancreatic
you will,
cancer,
looking like the
colorectal,
same
or lung
people in the
cancer
videos
after
and said
using
like
the
they
weight
couldn't
loss drug
they
Belvique
couldn't
or Belvique
bear
XR. Call the Belvique
having to
Advocates
deal
now for a
with
free
explaining
consultation.
away
You
where
may
they
be
lived,
owed
if that makes
significant
sense.
compensation. Call 1-888.
No, it doesn't make sense. The only problem is because it's very close to San Diego. Like it's literally, it is a suburb of San Diego, but it's affordable housing. And that's always going to be a problem. So you won't be able to get people to move out of there because more and more people are just going to keep moving there because it's affordable.
Gotcha.
It's not near the coast at all. It's more towards the desert part of San Diego. You head further east.
So it's a much lower socioeconomic demo.
Yeah. And it's right down the road from Miramar Air Force Base. Miramar is or Miramar Marine Base is where Top Gun used to be, where the original Top Gun film was filmed.
Okay.
He was stationed at Miramar during his Top Gun training because that's where it used to be. But it's literally right down the street. So you get a lot of military families living in Santee as well, which keeps the home prices kind of low.
Got it.
Schools keeping pace with the demands of the industry.
That makes sense.
The potential for growth is astounding.
At the Aviation Institute of Maintenance, we train tomorrow's technicians.
800-876-0097. 800-876-0097.
At Fidelity, we understand priorities can change. So when you partner with a dedicated advisor from Fidelity Wealth Management, they will help you develop a personalized wealth strategy, one that can be flexible enough to evolve as your needs change. Plus, they can offer investing strategies designed to reduce the impact of taxes, all while making sure you understand what you're paying and why. Learn more at fidelity.com/wealth. Investment
I haven't
minimums
heard this
apply.
song in
Fidelity
forever.
Brokerage Services, LLC.
This is part of the. Yeah, it's part of the spot.
All right, John is ready. Here's your song.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
You're listening to The Second Level on SB Nation.
You gotta admit, this song's awesome.
.com.
You should watch the video. It's even better.
From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, with way more than the scores, here's Eitan Shander.
I will admit it's growing on me. Slowly. I'm not giving anything more than an inch right here. It's growing on me. I bet if you played it tomorrow, I wouldn't hate it. And then by Friday, I'd probably be called. If you could suddenly work this in rejoins, we're only up for 2 hours a day, so it's not like you have a ton of time. But it's not awful. It's not as awful as I thought. It's not like that Friday song, right? Or Call Me Maybe
Right.
or the
No,
other.
I hear you.
Now,
You know what I should do is I should play other songs by Perry Grip for you, like sprinkle them all out.
Well, yeah, but did you
Because
just
he has a lot of hits.
But did you just ruin our bet here?
No.
Well, John McMullen's joining us on the
You
Progressive.
just want to know if he has ever heard of this song.
Fair. But I figured he now could Google in the 30 seconds he has until
He
we bring
won't.
him up. You'd be surprised how fast that man's thumbs
John's
work.
an honest man. He'll shoot straight from the hip.
He is an honest man, but even an honest man will do anything he can to survive. You corner an honest man, you'd be surprised, right? John, at JF McMullen on Twitter. There is a standing bet on this program. I actually gave Ron Culver 2-1 odds on yes. I say no. Have you ever heard that song before joining this show today?
Never heard it before. Very,
See,
very
I
honest
believe
man.
he's lying.
No, I'm not lying. Never heard it before.
An honest man. See how fast that turns. See how fast Ron Culver will turn on you, John.
Where's the honesty, John? Where's the honesty?
Unbelievable.
It's okay. This is
Now,
a safe place.
technically,
You can admit it.
If you want me to do some Clinton-like parsing, technically I heard it before I came on the show.
See, there you go.
When I was on hold, that's the first time I heard it.
And Ron was appealing to the politician in you, so
exactly
that works. Speaking,
depends what the definition of is, boys.
Well, I wonder, is that what Brett Favre's defense is going to be for taking a no-show $1.1 million? And now this story just came out, and I'm sure it's being discussed and looked at length, but my goodness, being wrapped up in a welfare scam where you got paid $1.1 million for a speech that you didn't deliver, that doesn't look too good on anybody's account, I would imagine, John.
No, I mean that's Sopranos level stuff. The no-show job.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Brett's overcome a lot. You know, you remember the Crocs, and that issue with Jen Sturgis. So he's overcome bigger things.
Is Jen
but,
Sturgis bigger than welfare fraud in the state of Mississippi?
No, maybe from a PR standpoint, but not from a legal standpoint.
Okay. I wonder if, in fact, what happened, and again, the big thing that will come from this is whether or not Favre gets wrapped in it. But you start looking around the story, and one thing that jumped out to us is there's a woman who allegedly spent money, embezzled cash on 3 different trucks. And you know, that's how it always is in the movie or the TV show, right? You pull off a big heist, and the leader says, all right, nobody spend any money. And there's one idiot in the group that goes out and spends $500,000.
Yeah, you got to have De Niro. Take it back.
Yeah, exactly. Take it back. Now, Favre is smarter because Favre probably just sat there and put that money in the mattress. Meanwhile, you had somebody else come out and buy trucks. Unbelievable how this thing has played out. I don't think, based on the surface of it, I don't think Favre will be facing criminal charges, knowing I don't have a legal degree, John, but it doesn't look good as far as Brett Favre being talked about in the news for the next week.
No, it certainly doesn't, and especially in this atmosphere when you have, you have so many good stories, but you have so many bad stories of people trying to take advantage of situations with the pandemic as well. So anytime you're a high-profile person in any vehicle, whether it be sports, entertainment, anything, you don't want to get mixed up in that kind of stuff, and especially if you're a guy who's made a heck of a lot of money in his career, which Brett certainly is. It's just bad luck. There's no question about that. There's no deflecting that. There's no defending it. And we'll see. I mean, you do have to be a little bit cautious in any, kind of legal accusations until things are proved, but it certainly doesn't look good.
No, and speaking of which, the only thing that looks worse from an allegation standpoint, and I'm obviously not counting anything physical where you're causing harm to somebody, but the only thing that looked worse over the last couple of days was the allegation from Montreal regarding Pete Rose. How shocked were you to find out that somebody alleged Pete Rose was using a cork bat?
Yeah, well, it's interesting how sports has changed if you think about it. I mean, forget about cork backs, but just the legend of baseball as a whole. And if you think back to the days of, Gaylord Perry or somebody like that who's, actively out there throwing spitballs, and it was part of sort of that storybook history of the game. And now everybody, for whatever reason, is, cheating is the worst thing in the world. And obviously the steroid era kind of brought that in. And I think everybody has their different definition of what cheating is. And some people are more hardline than others. I mean, those of us who live in the Philadelphia area understand, greenies used to be a big thing in baseball.
Right.
And that Phillies team was really enmeshed in that controversy at one point. So, things have changed, and the old NASCAR rules have always applied in sports, and I think they always will. And if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So I look at things. You bring it full circle back to today and the Boston Red Sox, Houston Astros, that kind of thing. Hey, if you can figure out a way to cheat and win a baseball game and turn that information, hey, Godspeed to you. I mean, everybody's trying to do something. Everybody's trying to get an advantage.
Well, that's the thing. And it's just like in real life. Sports mirror life in that regard. John McMullen joining us on the Progressive Guest Line at JF McMullen on Twitter. Two things. One, let's start with Thursday night, the 3-hour telecast. If you're not covering the league, if you're not already an NFL insider, presented, of course, here by Jacob Media and everywhere you are, locally in Philly and nationally in Sirius, if you're not somebody who is paid to discuss and talk about the NFL, how long are you really lasting in this 3-hour telecast?
5 seconds.
So why even turn it on? Yes, there you go.
I'm not even turning it on if I don't have to. The NFL schedule release is one of the most absurd things I think I've ever been in my entire life of covering sports. People's obsession with this. It's essentially, I get it for logistical purposes, for people who have to travel, people who want to travel, fans who want to go to games. I get it from that standpoint. You already know who you're playing. You already know every team. So you're just talking about dates. And it's always been that way. And now it's a little bit of a bigger deal, obviously, because there are no sports going on. The NFL is the only thing kind of going forward unfeathered because they're in an off season. So if anything, the the schedule release has become a bigger deal for people, but you know the opponents.
Right.
I will never understand this. And then you have the patented sports radio, that's a win, that's a loss game. As of saying anything, you know, the old adage in the NFL, it's not who you play, it's when you play them. I mean, pick any game. If you're talking Baltimore, Pittsburgh, well, is Lamar Jackson going to be there?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
So what is the point of saying that's a win, that's a loss?
Well, you got to get to quote my old boss / fellow radio host. I got to get through 5 hours, Mikey. You know, at some point you have to let the phones ring, John.
I get that point, and that part of it I understand. Look, people love it for whatever reason. Goes back to that. Why do people love it?
Yes.
We were talking on Twitter and cultural differences across the world. That's one of the things I'm interested in. I'm a weirdo. I'm like, why does this excite you people?
Well,
I don't understand it.
Do you think
I will never understand it?
That's actually an interesting point, John. Do you think fans, do you think local sports talk radio in Seoul or other areas, huge cities in South Korea, are going through the NC Dino schedule when it's released and saying, you see this? Take the over 96 wins, and they're going to be in the playoffs. Win here, win here, win here. They'll lose to this squad. And I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine, look, we talk about crazy fans, the crazy NFL fans, and they pale in comparison to, you know, Netflix has a great documentary right now on one of the English Premier League soccer teams. You know, they're even more crazy as far as their love for their particular teams and you know, some of the things that are embarrassing, to be honest, for cities around the world that take place. But yeah, so it exists in other places. But I don't know if, like, you know, if baseball, basketball, and granted, I mean, in a typical season, there's 162 games, baseball, 82 in basketball. So, you know, the NFL is more finite. So that's part of it. But they don't come out and say, okay, you know, these are the teams you're playing, even though you know it, because it's the same basically template every season. And then come back and have a 3-hour show on the dates. We're doing a 3-hour show on dates. That's basically what we're doing.
It is truly amazing. John, last one for you, and we'll chat later this week on the schedule release, and I have some specific ones that I'm sure are going to bore you to death leading up to that 3-hour telecast. What should we all expect? Look, I get that he's 16 years now in the NFL, but what should we expect from a personal fantasy bet? All of this, all encompassed from Frank Gore now on the Jets.
I think he's more of an Adam Gase type running back, and by that I mean he doesn't want to utilize Le'Veon Bell. So from that standpoint, I mean he's just the longevity for Frank Gore, I think, is the most impressive part at that particular position. I mean, usually you turn 30 in this league and they try to throw you on the scrap heap at that particular position. The fact that he's been able to not only get jobs, but to be relatively productive is pretty amazing. And I think that'll be the story. That'll be the legacy of Frank Gore when he goes into the Hall of Fame. But, you know, Adam Gase doesn't want Le'Veon Bell. Never did. So from that standpoint, I think that is the bigger, the more interesting part of it from a Jets perspective.
Awesome, John. Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
All right, thanks, Tom.
You got it. John McMullen, our NFL insider, courtesy of Jacob Media at JF McMullen on Twitter. An interesting over-under on Frank Gore, and maybe, just maybe, we have time to play that weather report that I forgot to play yesterday when we get out.
If business, pleasure, or sports fandom takes you to Houston, Dallas, Austin,
that happens.
Antonio, check out culturemap.com to get the
Figured
scoop on local
if I at least ended on like a down note,
and clubs to the biggest sights and sounds the city has to watch.
Yeah, I was anticipated that's what you were doing,
right?
But you just hadn't done that before,
right?
So it kind of threw me off.
Coming back, sign up for free Culture Map updates at culturemap.com.
Wake up call.
I would say this too. If you're going to do the Peyton Manning challenge, do it after the Tiger Woods film. Now, if you tell me you've never heard this next song, I'm going to have to
sick somebody.
Yeah.
Now, do we not have time for that weather thing?
The whole time we were playing, Tiger could
We don't need
not
to.
stop.
That's going to be tight.
It'll be tight. Okay, that's
Top dogs. That would be great.
Yeah.
I would be totally into that.
Did Phil just walk around flexing all the
right, so-
time?
Phil
Looking at
thinks
Gore's
he's
stats, right?
Good. Nobody loves Phil than Phil. Like if you've got that
Took an injury,
information,
but
that'd be
he
gold.
carried the ball 166 times.
Like I
last
like
year.
Phil, but I don't like Phil as much as Phil likes Phil. You know what I
Before
mean?
that, he
I had
carried
my
the ball
Phil
10
and Phil after
times
Halo
less.
3. How about that?
For nearly 120 yards more. So he had
See, that's
600
worth-
yards
that's
last
worth
year,
$500,000.
599, 722 the year
Wake Up
before.
Call with Tony D and Ron
If
Culver.
I gave you the over-under
Weekday
for
mornings.
500 yards this year rushing, would you
Game
take the
time
over? Or under?
decisions.
I would take the under.
All right, well,
Because
let's
I
hold-
think he's going to be. I think he's going to be used as Jerome Betts.
On the loudest station in the nation, SB Nation
Like
Radio.
just a pound
Game
it.
time.
Yeah, pound it for that extra yard or two. Pound it when you get down to the goal line area because the Jets still have Le'Veon Bell.
Renzi and Cam
True.
Stewart. Weekdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. Pushing the odds with Matt Perrault.
Brett Murphy from Stadium joining us
That's
here and
true.
pushing the odds. What are you hearing from athletic directors and coaches about their preparations for what may or may not happen coming up this fall?
As far as the athletic directors, I mean, they've got a number of contingency plans, whether that starts in late August as scheduled or maybe even gets pushed back to the spring. The NFL to play football does not need to bring back 40,000 students on campus. College football does. But I just
Wow,
think
we
it's
should talk
very
about this
unrealistic
tomorrow.
that
We
all
have
of
more
these major
time.
university presidents will feel confident enough
We
to
just
say,
we
you know what,
can't
to all
keep
of our students all
our
over the
attention on
world,
anything.
It's now
You know
safe
that?
to come back
Like the NFL
on
seems
campus
to be the
and
only
take
thing we
football
can-
classes. But make no
and like
mistake,
NBA
they will
finals,
find
stuff
out
that's
some way to
already-
get this season done.
Last
Could
Dance
mean
is already
the
dropping in
semifinals from the
ratings.
Rose Bowl and the
Well, that's why they always say the NFL is king. It's literally the only sport we can talk about
amazing.
year round.
It is
With
amazing.
Matt
They
Perrault.
provide us material year round.
Eastern on SB Nation Radio. Dealing with the root of the issues. It's the second level on SB Nation Radio.
And
Cinco de Mayo, come on.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. From the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eitan Shander.
Well, yeah, Richie Valens has one of the most famous songs ever, right?
Well, that's why I said to you during the break, if you don't know this one, we got to have words.
Well, is this really a song that's synonymous with Cinco de Mayo?
Nah.
Okay. You just have such a low opinion of songs I would know that you kind of just figure, look, let's just see how bad it is.
Usually when I play something, you're like, never heard of that song before. Or if I play something else, you know too much about it.
That's true. There's
There's
very
no
little
happy-
middle ground with me, right?
There's no happy medium.
No.
Just right down the middle where he's like, yeah, I've heard it. Don't know much about it.
No. It's
Caught it
either
on the radio once or twice. No
Yep.
big deal.
I'll give you a 6-minute in-depth dive of a bass line used on 3 different hip-hop songs, or I'll stare blankly into the stream camera, not knowing about Taco Tuesday song by the Migos. That's the range I have.
Well,
there.
you wouldn't know about Taco Tuesdays by the Migos because they literally came
Just
out
dropped
today.
it, right.
Yeah.
All right, so I wanted to put this.
I really
Frank
put it
Gore
on
thing.
because of LeBron. We all love LeBron.
Absolutely, we do, and we love the fact that he coined the phrase Taco Tuesday. As
Yeah,
well.
he should trademark that before other people steal it.
No, absolutely. that's exactly what we should do. So I was going to throw the Frank Gore thing out there, but let's bypass that because there's more important things, including Nicolas Cage. Now, Nicolas Cage is not a good actor. Nicolas Cage has very little strengths to his acting ability, and Nicolas Cage is rarely, if ever, a dominant force on screen. Why would you want him to play Joe Exotic?
No, but why is he a dominant force on screen? Now, I'm not saying
He's not, is my point.
No, but why? Okay, well, let me rephrase it. Why is he always given the opportunity to be the dominant force on screen?
Yeah,
Hollywood loves him.
He's got a great agent. Who
Hollywood
reps him? CAA?
loves him.
Exactly.
I don't know. It's because his last name is Coppola.
That's it. That's exactly it. He had to change it because he knew that what is it? Nepotism.
Yeah.
I
But
tell
he's a nephew of a other famous Coppola.
Unbelievable, man. See, if your last name was De Niro, you'd be in everything you wanted.
Who says it isn't?
Is that why you're here?
Pretty much.
Shame on you for not using nepotism to your advantage. All right, man. Did it get any better, by the way, in that final hour or no?
It totally cleared up about probably through the second segment.
Oh, good. All right, man.
Wake up
Thanks
call.
for everything, buddy. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Are we going to
So,
be scrambling to
I'm
get
gonna
Jacksonville an NFL team?
Not at all.
No.
Had your chance, blew it.
Real quick,
had your chance.
what are your thoughts
Not our
on
problem.
this?
San
I'm going to
Diego,
have
no one is
John
trying to figure out a
Anik,
way
the
to get a team back in
UFC
San Diego
play-by-play
until they have an NFL stadium.
on my local
Oakland.
show tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to record it tomorrow at like
The Raiders
2.
will move back in 10
So
years.
it'll be about
Hey, I don't
like
figure
a
it
12, 13
Wake up
minute
call.
interview. I cannot mention
Uncovered.
the local
Weekday
show that
mornings.
it's on if you think that would be a name worthy of
The
replaying
second
on
level.
Thursday. I don't really like to do that, but
The one bet I'm most
in UFC,
comfortable,
he's a big
confident
enough
in
name where I figured
across
I would
the
ask.
No, I think it's still UFC is been growing.
Right.
So
Okay.
I mean, there's definitely an audience, and it's your audience.
Right. No, I just wanted to get
matter
your
of time
thoughts on it. I mean,
before
if you thought it
you
would
get
be
Jalen Hurts
lazy
on the
or if you
board,
didn't
and
think
we
it would
even
be good
brought
to
that bet
repurpose
back.
or if you didn't think there'd be enough.
Whenever you have someone like of that ilk, where it's an announcer, I mean, it's always good to repurpose those type of things.
Sounds good, brother.
Especially
So
since he might drop a little nugget because UFC is at the forefront of, hey, we want to be the first one back,
absolutely.
but we can't for some reason. But we're going to keep trying and keep pushing the envelope, but we're probably shooting ourselves in the foot. And it's just this weird dance that they're doing with society.
Right.
Talked about
Right.
at length heading into
Sweet.
Friday night for 2 days.
So I'll have
This
that
is where we
third
are on
Wednesday,
this
and then we
planet.
can play
The
that
second
Thursday.
level.
Maybe
Weekday,
11:40.
Okay.
p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
No worries. Have a
All
good
right.
one.
You too.
SB Nation's taking over the world, right?
Why, of course.
It's Pharrell here from